And this ain't financial advice. The world is full of vampires. Time vampires. Worst kind of vampire there's ever been. Somebody that sucks your time up. You know why? Because time is one of those things you can't ever get back anymore. Time is the most important asset you have in your life. Think about it. What are the three most important things you have in your life? Time, money, and energy. Because time, money, and energy can fix almost every problem you have, with the exception of a health problem. Value your time. And the reason I bring this point up is because a long time ago, somebody very wise told me something that I never forgot. They said, Scott, it's easy to have a good idea. It's hard to execute it. And the reason I bring this up is because as we enter the ever-expanding cryptocurrency space, it's full of great pitches. It's full of ideas. It's full of things that truly enter the imagination. And it's easy to get the FOMO, get a little butter in your britches. And you say, hey, I should throw some of my money at that. But you got to ask yourself, when you throw money at something, what are you really throwing at it? You're really throwing your time at it, because at some point in time, you traded your time for those dollars. And when you give somebody your time units, known as dollars, you're hoping that they can grow that money, grow that time, and grow a little bit of the freedom that you have here on this earth. And when that person doesn't execute, they rob you of your time. They rob you of your freedom. So when you're looking out for new projects, you're looking out for the next hot thing, you're looking out for the thing that could revolutionize the cryptocurrency space, or revolutionize the autonomous driving space, or revolutionize the artificial intelligence space, look at the person and how they've spent their time in the past. How accountable are they, or have they been? Is it the first rodeo? Is it the second rodeo? Have they been a part of 35 rodeos and never successfully ridden the bull for the full 8 seconds? Because that can be a good indication of what they're going to do with your time. Because once they have your money, they have your time. And time, it's one of those things that's very hard to get back. You can't create more time. Luckily, you can create more money, which hopefully can free up a little bit more time. So provided you have your health, which in this life is apparently a big crapshoot, spend your time wisely. In essence, spend your money wisely, because it certainly is going to affect your time. And the people who are managing your time units, make sure they're accountable. That's what I would tell you, because that's what I do. Certainly not any kind of financial advice, and you shouldn't take me more than a man sitting outside the grocery store, rambling on about nothing. And the reason I tell you this is because when you're 92 years old. I don't want you to be working at Walmart saying, can we get a price check on aisle 15 for mayonnaise? Because you didn't spend your time wisely. Now, Polygon has some very interesting stuff coming up. Now, it's interesting because Polygon was originally created to bridge networks inside of the Ethereum space, connecting the Ethereum networks. That was Polygon's original thing, but now they aim to grow their NFT gaming. I wonder if it's because they're realizing that Ethereum is wasting their time. Probably not. But it is, it has scaling solutions. It has some scaling issues. So Polygon doing something very interesting with their time, because they've set up a $100 million fund. Okay? And this is something that I think everyone should pay close attention to. And I'll tell you why. Because what is the biggest entertainment industry there is out there today? Is it video games? Is it movies? Is it music? Is it television? It's video games. Movies, television, and music combined do not equal what video games bring in. Yeah. Trends, people. Do you think video games are going to get bigger in the future? Or do you think they're going to get smaller in the future? People make multi-million-dollar salaries as gamers, and they fill arenas just to watch people play video games. Now, that is beyond me. I didn't play a lot of video games growing up. Quite frankly, I don't think I had the thumb control. But I can recognize a trend. I can recognize a trend in my friends' kids. They sit there glued to the iPads and the PS4s and the PS5s. And if it's taken away, they throw a tantrum. So the video game people have certainly found a way to suck those kids in. And if you think about it, I mean, my friends' kids, they beg their parents, they beg them to buy video game skins. Yeah, for the cars. So you buy the game and then you have to buy more products in the game. People say, I don't get NFTs. Well, if someone's dad won't stop their crying kid until he buys him the leopard Lamborghini skin for the new GTA 13 game, and the dad says, fine, I'll buy you the thing, and they can then tie that thing to a non-fungible token that is an asset through something like Polygon that has over 500 decentralized apps on it, that may be a good use of your time. I think Polygon really may be onto something, and they actually they've held up a pretty good track record, and Ethereum is much to thank for Polygon lowering their fees. Also, the drop in volume lowered their fees considerably as well. So I personally see companies like Marvel, companies like Fox, companies like Ubisoft, who are all entering the NFT space as a growing space that will probably, most likely, not a guarantee, enter into the video game space. Therefore, those skins that get outdated when you got to buy the new game and they don't transfer, perhaps they can transfer, and now you actually own some type of digital asset. Novel idea. Check it out, folks. So here we go. I want to show you this. Check this out. Cardano nearing oversold levels. Why Cardano could retake previous highs. And one of the largest reasons why that could happen is because ADA may be the outlier. Everything's really tied to Bitcoin. You can't get outside of Bitcoin. I'm ready for Cardano, as I've said before, to divorce Bitcoin. Because when it does, it'll break the spell for a lot of other promising projects perhaps like Polygon. Cardano or Ethereum can break that spell. That will be a monumental day in blockchain history. That will be the day when it says everything's fair game. We all don't have to use AOL online to surf the web anymore. That is a day that I am looking forward to it. And my hat goes off to the team that makes it happen, whether it's Ethereum, whether it's Cardano, whether it's Solana, Cosmos, et cetera, because then the technology can advance. Coins at that point will be able to function more on their own accord and not just follow the Bitcoin trend, which I know we all resent so much. Now, this is very cool. Cardano has actually been one of the most resilient cryptos in the market. While Bitcoin has experienced a 50% correction and has revisited the yearly open, ADA has traded well above the previous lows. I think people, being that we've had some pretty awesome updates from the Cardano team about the Alonzo progress, see what's happening, and they see that crypto isn't going away. They see that crypto, much like video games, is going to be something that is here to stay, and it's something that is going to expand. Now, maybe your grandfather doesn't understand Bitcoin. My grandfather thinks Bitcoin is something that can, he goes, how come you only get a little bit of it? You only get a tiny bit of the coin? I'm like, no, grandfather, you get a whole coin. Unfortunately, the old school, they don't get Bitcoin, just like they didn't get video games. But that doesn't mean that video games and cryptocurrency isn't here to stay. Because when those kids who are 7 are now 27, those kids who are now 5 become 35, they're going to grow up indoctrinated into Bitcoin, surfing the web, buying NFTs for their games, using Dogecoins or Polygon tokens or Cardano or any token that comes out that is applicable to the thing that they are trying to accomplish. And that's just going to become the status quo. That's going to become the norm. Speaking of time vampires, when you see these new hot projects and you say, oh, this white paper is so sexy. Then you see the production go down and you're like, oh, what's going on with this thing? And then you're like, whoa-jacked out of your money. So be careful out there. It's going to be exciting to see what happens with Cardano. They are onboarding a ton of developers through the POTUS Pioneers program. That's a hell of a tongue twister. The PPP, not the PPP that's paying the loans. This is the POTUS Pioneers program. Shout out to Nerd. Folks, if you're looking for a great stake pool, Nerd has 406 of pretty much the coolest people in the entire blockchain space. And you can see we're making all these sexy blocks right here. Click, clack, click, clack. We have 183 blocks, and we're sitting on 14,120,473 ADA to date. And I want to shout out to everybody in the Nerd fam and everybody in the Telegram below. Thank you for making this such an amazing community. I can't wait to see what happens with the launch of Goguen. And Cardano has been one of the few currencies that wasn't strongly affected by the June dips, in spite of the massive fall of Bitcoin's price. Now today, we actually have seen a little bit of a pump. We actually have seen the prices rise. And that's a beautiful thing. Folks, love talking to you. Love spending my time with you. And if I don't see you, I'll see you on the internet. I'm out.